Welcome back to the Seattle Sports Show where we love Seattle Pro Sports. I'm your host, Mikey, and you know what we're here to do today. Another 7-round mock draft for your Seattle Seahawks. And we're looking at a Seahawks team that still has nobody to play left guard, still only has the minimum amount of linebackers to play on the field. We're looking at a lot of offensive linemen with 1-year deals. We're looking at a lot of linebackers with 1-year deals. What does that tell you about priority in this draft? Still linemen and still linebackers at this point. And we know that John Schneider went on 710 ESPN the other day with Bob and Wyman and said that guards are overdrafted and overpaid. So what does that tell you about pick 16, along with the needs of the Seahawks, that he wants to trade off of that spot and he wants to move back and pick up more picks in the range of rounds 2 and 3, so he can get more value of players that he likes at positions of need without overdrafting and overpaying them. So how can we make that happen? The only way you can make that happen is if players fall to you at 16 that are of value that other teams want. And what positions are you willing to pass on? Quarterback, obviously. We have Geno Smith, who we're paying a decent amount of money to already, who has done well for you. And we just traded for Sam Howell. So if we're looking at the 5th or 6th best quarterback, we're probably willing to pass on that position for another team who wants it. Wide receiver, we have DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, JSN. Again, at pick 16, you're talking about looking at, again, 4th, 5th, 6th best receiver in the draft. Again, you're willing to let somebody like that go so that you can pick up more value in this draft and get players at positions that you need. And now, what's another position that you would be willing to pass on, just based off of the resources that you have spent alone at the position? Defensive tackle. You have Leonard Williams. You have Draymond Jones. They're some of the biggest contracts on the team. Yeah, I think they'd be willing to forego drafting, one of the top 3 to 5 defensive tackles, linemen in this draft, so they can get value throughout the rest of the draft to get other players that they need. Okay, so we're going to go into this mock with that in mind. We don't know how it's actually going to play out, so the plan is to trade back, but we'll see what actually happens here, and if we get any good trade offers, or if there's somebody that I'm not going to pass on. Well, we got a decent enough trade offer that I am going to accept it. We are swapping 16 with 20 with Pittsburgh, and then our 102 with their 51. Okay, so let's take that. And then, again, we're moving 20 to 26 with Tampa Bay. Okay, so we're swapping. So we're moving back to 26, but we are also trading our 118 for their 57. So we're picking up another 2nd-round pick while still having a pick in the 1st round. This is, not bad for us at this point. Let's see, that's kind of a peculiar trade offer. Okay, wow. So let's go for a 3rd trade. This is a simulation, guys. Let's have fun, okay? We're looking at Seattle here. Okay, again, things get wild. Go look at, again, I told you, it's on Seahawks.com. You can go look at all the draft and trade history for the entire history of Seahawks existence. And you can look at the dates of those trades. And you can see how many trades the Seahawks have made within a single draft and within a single day. Okay, so we are making our 3rd trade of the 1st round. Not totally unprecedented in the NFL. We are trading our 26, we are swapping for their 28 with Buffalo, and then we are swapping our 81 to get to their 60. So again, moving another third round up into the second round. So I'm liking the value we're getting out of this. And again, here we are at pick 28. We are not feeling like we are overdrafting or overpaying a player. We're gonna go get guard Graham Barton out of Duke. Can play some tackle as well, but you're getting him in here to compete for that guard position because again, literally, we don't have enough to to field the team right now. So here we are, pick 51. We still really need linebackers, still a major need for this team. You want somebody who is not just going to be on a 1-year deal, who is not, you know, who's going to be able to compete for a starting job right away. Let's go get again. Edgerrin Cooper is available here. Let's get Edgerrin Cooper. Okay, we're looking at moving back one spot with Green Bay, swapping 57 for their 58, and then we're swapping a 2025 fourth round pick for this year's fourth round pick from Green Bay, pick 126. Right? That's the way the math works out? 64.96. Yeah. Okay, so we will accept that. See who they take. Okay. And here we are at 58. We've gotten a top guard who's going to compete for a starting job. We got a linebacker who's going to compete for a starting job. So we can kind of look at this pick now and say, well, we actually want to get somebody here who can be a depth piece and who can anchor the middle of our defense and be that true nose tackle for our defense. Think about him, because look at Draymond Jones. He can play out on the edge. So can Leonard Williams. We've seen him do it. Now think about putting Tavondre Sweat in the middle of them and just how much that would help those guys out, especially a guy like Draymond Jones who has not lived up to what we hoped he would be so far. Maybe the plays when Tavondre Sweat is out there on the field with them, he can help them live up to that potential that we were hoping. So here at pick 58, we're taking Tavondre Sweat. And we're going to keep our pick number 60 as well, because at pick number 60, again, for me, I still do not want to let Junior Colson go by. So we're going to get Junior Colson. Now we have really filled out that linebacker room for a bunch of players competing for starting positions. And no matter what, at the very least, you're going to have very solid backups at this point now. Okay, so our next pick didn't come until 126, but we got 4. We went from only having 2 picks in the first 3 rounds to having 4 picks in the first 2 rounds. So I think that worked out for us, again, value-wise. Let's see here. So we are at pick 126. I don't want to necessarily reject this yet, but let me look at what else is available, because the next pick doesn't come till 179. Zach Zinter is still on the board. I see Brandon Coleman still on the board, but to me, again, if Zach Zinter really is healthy, he's going to go much sooner than this. So let's take Zach Zinter here again, and you're not overdrafting or overpaying this player, especially if healthy, and the familiarity he's going to have with Mike McDonald, and have somebody to communicate in that way with. Okay, and now we are waiting till our next pick at 179. And at 179 here, let's see. We've gotten linebacker, we've gotten offensive guards and linemen, we've gotten a defensive tackle. Now we are looking at, and we are here, at the later portions of the draft. Um, but we are looking at 179. I mean, again, Maris, the UFO, I still really like the player. And you're gonna want more than just two backup linebackers for the team in total. So you got to take another one. So let's take another one. Again, you have more than two linebacker positions in the, in on the defense. So you got to have more than two backups in total. So we're taking him there now at pick 192. Okay, well, you got to fill out the tight end room. You got to get a good receiver. Tanner McLaughlin, still there. We've taken him a lot lately, but if it fits, it fits. And then we're at pick 235. What in the world is going on here? Let's see here. For me, what do we see? I don't want any of these running backs. Like I already got Devondre Sweat, so I don't really need Briggs. I just got McLaughlin, so do I really want to take Barner again? Let's see here. Well, again, we need more people to compete with for safety position as well. And I like Dominique Hampton out of Washington, so let's take him here at 235, and that is going to fill out our draft. So let's take a look. Traded back a few times in that first round, got Graham Barton, so we didn't overdraft or overpay a guard. Because of those trades that we made, we were able to get Edgerrin Cooper in the second round, and Tavondre Sweat in the second round, and Junior Colson in the second round. So, got a lot of good value of positions of need in this year's draft, all by being willing to pass up some of the top players at positions that you already have a lot of resources in. You get Zach Zinter to help fill out the rest of that offensive line room. Maris Leofau, again, you got to fill out the linebacker room. You're not going to have. At this point, when we got Edgerrin Cooper and Junior Colson, then you're saying yes, we have the starters to play in the middle enough middle linebackers now and enough middle linebackers for backups. But you're going to have you're going to need more linebackers than that, especially if somebody gets hurt. And if multiple people get hurt. You gotta have players to be able to come in and play. Tanner McLaughlin again, depth chart. Receiving tight end. Dominic Hampton filling out that safety room and competing in there. And there's your mock draft for this one. Let me know what you thought of this one. What would you grade it if those kind of moves were made? A, B, C, D, F. I know as a Seattle Seahawk fan, that might be hard to watch on draft day, right? Because you always look at the higher picks as being, oh, well, you want the higher pick, and maybe that's going to be a better player. But you got to think about what the Seahawks want to do. The value of picks that they have, the lack of picks that they have in the first 3 rounds right now, and what they would be willing to do to get picks back in that position. And especially if the players available to them at pick 16 are not necessarily, needs for them, and especially if they're positions that they already had a ton of resources spent on, right? So kind of keep that in mind when you're giving the grade, and think going through the thought process of why they might do that. Again, maybe not exciting as a fan to watch them trade farther and farther back, but might actually make the team better in the long run. All right, so there you go. That's your mock draft, and that is the episode. So please make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, the notification bell, because we're doing a ton of these, so you don't want to miss one. And then, if you're listening on the podcast version, just as well, hit that follow button, hit the subscribe button, depending on what you're listening on, Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and then hit that 5-star rating and a written review, because that all helps out the show. All right. Thank you so much for listening to the Seattle Sports Show, where we watch legends awaken. So take cover, because with the sea of sound, you will see us rise to reign supreme and win forever.